The Flying Kipper is one of Sodor's most important trains. Every few days, early in the morning, it is loaded with fresh fish from the mainland. Henry collects it and delivers the cargo to places all around the island. Henry enjoys doing this job and does not mind the smell of fish at all. Most engines are grateful that they don't have to pull the Kipper. One night, the engines were all returning home from a hard day's work. Gordon was already there. He was coughing and wheezing dreadfully. A fitter had been sent for, but wouldn't arrive until morning. The signalman ran up with news for Henry's driver, who then spoke to Henry. "The express will need a new engine to take Gordon's place tomorrow." "I can hear him coughing all the way from my box," said the signalman. "But who will look after the Kipper?" asked Henry. "Oh, not James," said the fireman. "We'd need a day just to pry him from the shed." What about one of the tank engines?" asked the driver. Thomas and Percy were horrified at the notion. "Thomas has a charter train in the morning, and Percy really isn't suited for the job," said the fireman. "And Edward's due for shunting," said the signalman. "Excuse me, can I volunteer?" It was Toby. The signalman pondered, and then went to telephone the Fat Controller. He came back from his signal box a few moments later. "The Fat Controller has agreed to have you pull the Kipper," said the signalman. "Thank you, sir," replied Toby. "I'm sure I can manage." Gordon's incessant coughing kept the engines awake all night. There was a peaceful lull when Toby's driver and fireman arrived to prepare him, but the coughing and sneezing resumed soon after. Toby steamed sleepily into the harbour. The aroma of fish was everywhere, and to Toby anything and everything seemed to be dripping and leaking. "Phew!" he sniffed. "I never knew the smell would be that strong." He backed down onto the line of rusty Kipper vans. Through many years near the sea, the vans had fallen victim to wood rot and the metal had corroded. This made the van doors hard to close. Even the couplings felt damp. Toby closed his eyes and waited until the last of the fish vans were loaded. Then everything seemed to happen all at once. The workmen struggled to shut the last door, but with one great bang they forced it closed. This woke Toby up. He saw the guard's green lamp and started off quickly with a lurch. No one had noticed that the brake van did not follow and remained right where it sat. The sun had only just reached the horizon as they made their way. The morning air was still icy cold, and Toby was glad he had a good fire to keep him warm. Toby trundled over the bridge and out onto the open line. As the smell of fish spread across the country, the people in the towns kept their windows shut. Normally Henry would fly by with the Kipper, but Toby, being only a tram engine, was going rather slowly. Toby stopped at all the stations delivering crates of fish for lorries to take to market. Each time it was a struggle to get the train started again, and each time Toby would jerk forward to get the vans moving. Luckily, with the inertia he found he could easily get going. After he had visited several stations, he was surprised to find out that only one truck was empty. bust my cowcatchers, he gasped. I never would have thought that pulling the Flying Kipper was such hard work. The sun had risen and the birds were chirping when Toby reached the next station. Duck was there picking up passengers. Caw, sniffed Duck. The only thing missing in your train is chips and ketchup. Toby took no notice. He jerked forward yet again to get the train moving. The smell of fish was even stronger as Toby chuffed through Brendam docks. He now felt very tired, but still had a long way to go. I really wish they'd started unloading from front to back, complained Toby. Arr, said Salty. Nothing like a fresh fish train to stretch your wheels of a morning. Toby let out a big yawn. Whoa, doesn't smell all that fresh to me, he said miserably. Toby puffed along the coastal track. He had one more delivery to make, right over Gordon's Hill. Toby knew he should wait for help here. The train was very heavy. But Toby wanted to get his smelly job over with, so he steamed up the hill as fast as he could. This was a big mistake. They were nearly at the crest when the coupling on the first fish truck snapped. Toby, red in the face from all the effort, was flung forward. Oh no, gasped Toby. The Flying Kipper was now rolling backwards down the hill. The signalman was too late to divert the trucks into the siding. From around the bend, Henry steamed towards the station with Gordon's Express. He wasn't going fast, but still couldn't slow down in time. No one was hurt, but Henry's front wheels were derailed by the impact of the trucks. The crates of fish had been in the frontmost vans, which hadn't derailed, but the strong smell of fish still hung in the air. Some of the empty trucks were in pieces all around Henry. Toby sadly surveyed the clean-up. He sighed. Well, Henry, he said, you missed the Flying Kipper. It looks as though it missed you too. Henry groaned. Ooh. I have to give you credit though, continued Toby. Pulling the Flying Kipper isn't as easy as I thought it would be. To avoid delays, another engine was called to take the express to the next station. Workmen hurriedly cleared the line. Once it had gone, the rest of the mess was cleaned up, and Henry was put back on the rails. Edward took what was left of the Flying Kipper on to the last station. The fat controller came to the shed that evening and spoke to Toby. Toby, in spite of the morning's mishaps, I am proud of you for taking the train for Henry. This wasn't your fault. The metal on the truck's couplings was corroded and has needed replacing for some time. I'm only grateful this wasn't a serious accident. Gordon will be back pulling the express tomorrow, so Henry can pull the Kipper next time. Toby smiled, as did Henry. Early the next morning, Henry steamed across the island with new vans for the Flying Kipper. All of the fish was delivered to the stations, and Henry made excellent timing. While Toby was sleeping, Henry had shunted him over to the harbour shed for a fishy wake-up call. Henry's own way of saying thank you for taking the Flying Kipper.